Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Bailey Rayne and welcome to Rayne Movement. Whether you're physically seeing this on my YouTube channel or you're listening in on my podcast, I am so grateful and happy to have you here. Today's conversation is going to be really quick and it's basically my after ayahuasca story. Let's get into it. So there is a lot that happened, and I'm going to keep this really short, shorter than I originally planned on, because I feel that the experience with the grandmother is extremely sacred, and it's taken me weeks to get to a point where I even want to discuss it. And I think that's a really good thing, to not just share every little ounce of everything that happened, because so much was for me. But there were some really important key points I wanted to bring up, so I'm not going to really go into how the ceremony was and how it was led, because that's going to be a different experience, I'm assuming, anywhere you go. But know that it was extremely beautifully led, and I'm assuming every ayahuasca ceremony will be beautifully led. I do feel like if you have never been in a ceremony where we're calling in for directions, you might feel a little out of sorts, or already a little bit confused, or having that little bit of like, where are we? So I highly recommend being in a ceremony situation where you kind of feel what that is. After that, the other really big key point I wanted to hit is that it is a full-on psychedelic hallucinogen. There are videos that say this, but there are also videos and podcasts that don't. I know for me, when I was listening to stories and people's experiences, so much seemed so clear to them. It told me this, it showed me this, and it seemed very clear. For me, it was not clear at all. And I think that's really ironic, considering, when I was speaking to my before video, and I just want to side note for 2 seconds, my before video podcast, I looked at that after and I was just like, oh, you poor girl, you have no clue what you're about to sign up for. So, take all of that with a grain of salt, and what was really potent there. I highly recommend preparing more than a week. I also highly recommend drinking, I would say, a half a gallon of water a day leading up that week, because I don't really want to get too much into what all I saw, what all I experienced, because that is for me. But I do want it to make this very clear. There is a possibility that you will pass out if you are not fully prepared. I passed out in ceremony. I honestly thought it was part of the journey. I thought it was part of the experience. Like, I was still seeing things when it happened. But my facilitator is also was a nurse practitioner before she held space for plant medicine ceremonies, and she happened to be in the room because, ironically, all of the women, this was a women's only ceremony, had gone outside, other than just a few of us that stayed, and I stayed because I didn't feel like I could get up. I didn't trust my body. I felt like I was going to collapse. And I must have at some point tried to get up or something. I really don't think I got past kneeling, and she saw me pass out. And next thing I know, I heard my voice and was like being pulled back. So that was really scary. So for me, the plant took me too far. That's what that's called. It took me too far. And it can happen if you're not. To me, I wanted to be fully open to anything, but I also had these expectations that my subconscious wasn't letting go of. And so even in my before video, I said, I'm open for anything and anything that happens and everything that happens. I still had some type of framework or structure around what to expect. And it wasn't at all that. And to keep that in mind, she's gonna take you on a trip that you need to know. I'll just leave it at that. Not what you want to know in any way, shape, or form. Or she's going to show you in a very roundabout way where you're going to spend a lot of time after ceremony contemplating on what came through. So anyways, I did pass out in ceremony, meaning I did not do a second dose. Most all ayahuasca ceremonies offer one first dose, second dose halfway through the night or through the ceremony. Just because my body was so shook up, I was drenched in sweat from the pass out. I had changed clothes. And so that was a whole situation in itself. And I almost passed out again later on in ceremony when taking hape. And I will say, don't resist purging at all. Meaning if you're sitting up and you feel like, I feel like I'm gonna be sick, or I feel a little like woozy or dizzy or like, whoa, stay upright. Like stay upright, don't lay down. Because you need to purge the ayahuasca. That's what is being asked of you. And even if that purging is going to the bathroom. And so I almost felt like I had to go to the bathroom probably an hour into the first dose. And I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to get up. And then every time I sat up, I felt that kind of woozy, yucky. And I was like, I don't want to have to go to the bathroom. I don't want to have to go to the bathroom. And because I didn't want to purge in that way. I was just like, I would rather throw up than have to get up and go to the bathroom a million times. And so I kept fighting it. And because I kept fighting it is why I passed out, because the body needed to release the toxins that are stored inside of you. So please, every time you lay down, it soothes it, but it doesn't allow the medicine to do its job. So that's something to think about. And then, after I passed out, I did end up getting some bathroom runs in because the pass out was almost like a reset. So I was finally able to get up, go to the bathroom. That was a many trip ordeal. And then later we did the hape, and the hape finally caused me to throw up, purge. So I did that for a long time. It is a deeply detoxing medicine, and the visions are, or can be, just like really wild and crazy and all over the place. And just know it's not always super clear. And, some things I've felt, just really two things I want to mention as a whole. We are all one. We are from the stars. We are infinite. We are never ending. And we are divine consciousness, and we are all connected, and we are all loved. That was a clear message that I felt called to share with everyone here, especially if you feel like you're not. And then also this deep grief and sadness of Mother Earth. I felt her tears, I felt her pain, but I also still felt her holding as this deep mother, this womb. So really love your Earth a little bit more. Do more to protect her. She's hurting right now with everything going on, and so whatever you can contribute in any way, just spending time with her, being mindful of like your trash and littering and all of that stuff. So that was a really deep sadness that I felt for our Earth, and also what I wanted to share like as a collective message. The rest is for me. So I'm gonna keep that for me. There was some other thing I wanted to mention, and now I'm drawing a blank. Give me a second. So I'll take a deep breath together. There it is. I felt deeply, probably the saddest I've ever felt in many years after ceremony for a week. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to decipher all the things that happened, all the things that came through. You might feel emotions you haven't felt in a while, and to trust it and to really journal and breathe into it. I did uncover what mine was, and it was just a deep letdown within myself. And, that was something for me to work on. So just know, ayahuasca is extremely powerful medicine. Not anything could be clear. You might be uncovering everything that was shown for you for the next year. Drink a crap ton of water before ceremony. I mean, more than you can ever imagine. Like I said, at least half a gallon a day leading up to it. Even if that means you have to pee 50 million times, you have to do it, or you're going to have what happened to me happen to you. Don't resist purging. Also why what happened to me happened. And listen to your body when you're in it and everyone's like going for their second dose and they're like, oh, you should just have a little bit or whatever. You are your own guru, your own teacher. Listen to that. Don't listen to anybody else. And that's a topic that I will be filming here soon about, listening to your own inner voice, your own intuition, and letting that guide you and not taking in advice from other people, because we all do it. But that's going to be a whole other segue. But anyways, this is my after. I have filmed after already, like workouts and stuff, and I feel really good. I feel initiated. I feel finally like I belong in the communities that I want to be in. Like, it felt like I needed that to finally be out of like imposter syndrome a little bit, because I just always have struggled with feeling like I belong, I suppose. So for me, that helped me, but that might not be the path for you. Something will always come that'll show you that you do belong and you're in the right place. And no, it does not have to be plant medicine. If it scares you or you're intimidated in any way, shape, or form, please listen to that. Your body knows. That's why my channel's here. That we breathe into our feelings, that we tune into our bodies. We do these somatic movements and dance to really process everything, to better listen to what's in us. So thank you all so much for tuning into my after. And I love you all. And I love all the people that have been following me from day one, all my subscribers from day one, and all my new subscribers. I just want you guys to know how much I love you and how excited I am to continue on the journey and the path that I know I'm prepared to be on now. So thank you. Thank you. I will see you all in my next video.